Jay Reed. Jay Reed with a question.
Question: what do you think about your teammate Julian Blackman and Justin Reed? Are they good guys, or do you have any opinions on them?
Yeah, no, they've done a great job with me, especially just teaching me about football, being great mentors, and they've done a great job just making it feel like home.
Tell me more. Keep going.
I would say, I think one way Justin's gone out of his way is, inviting me into his home. Wow. That was really welcoming. And for Julian, I think one way he's helped me the most is just life advice, but also just, taking it deeper than football. So I'll say those are two ways for them.
What's the worst thing about me?
The worst thing about you?
Yeah, careful now. There's fines attached to this.
I'm understanding. I would say the worst thing about you is probably how quick you were able to come over here and just take over and just be a dominant player.
Wow.
Yeah. How much do you hate TB?
TB? I don't hate him at all. He's one of my best friends. I think he's definitely the class clown of the room. Just he can make anybody laugh, and I think that's really it.
How do you feel like you're meshing with the secondary? How do you feel like it's been as a rookie coming in? It's your first year, you're from Virginia. I don't know if you guys learn a lot there, but how is it here?
Yeah, meshing, it's been great. And I think that really just comes with, nobody's really like jealous or, envious of one another. And I think the togetherness and family aspect of the room is really helping, the learning curve for me just go a lot smoother and quicker, because at the end of the day, everybody in our room wants to see everyone succeed.
He's a good rook.
Have you tried the local cuisine? Boudin bowls, corporate étouffée?
Nah, I haven't.
Yeah?
Antoine's.
What are we doing? Fine.
Damn.
Big fun. Jonas Sanker.
How do you feel like you're adjusting to the speed of the game? It looks like your instincts are making a lot of plays, crashing down on stuff like it. Does it feel comfortable for you already?
Yeah, no, at the end of the day, I think, the speed and all that, I think that just comes with, being comfortable. I think a lot of times, you can play slower when you're not familiar with the system. So at the end of the day, for me, it's just, getting familiar with the system, learning the fundamentals, the details of the defense, and then at that point, just being able to be myself and play fast.
Do you feel opposed to being yourself?
Yeah, I feel like I've made a lot of progress over the offseason, and starting to really see, the fruits of the labor come together right now.
Jonas, just being a player in this kind of business, how much do you look forward to get to the preseason games?
Yeah, no, I can't wait. I'm ready to go.
I know you played a lot of box in college, but do you feel like the back end stuff is something you can show more of here?
Yeah, I think, us being a split field safety defense, being able to, rotate down, being able to play high. At the end of the day, I think that just, is beneficial for me because, I'm a versatile player. So it allows me to be able to, play to my strengths in different areas.
I know you just touched on this when Justin took over the media presser, but learning under a guy like him and what he, him as a vet, what has it been like?
It's definitely helpful. Just, not just, learning the defense, generally, but just, giving little tips and advice, how to play quarterbacks, how to study film. I remember the first day, watching film, I sat in between him and Alante and just watching, Justin, take notes and just how detailed and organized, it looked like the notes of some of the college girls that, just everything's color coded and just neatly it was really crazy. I was like, dang, I need to step up my game. So just being able to see how they do things, how well they take care of their bodies, it's helped me, add some of that stuff, to my daily routine.
Are your notes color coded?
Nah, I'm getting there. I'm working on just making them more organized. I've never been, a crazy organized neat freak, but I'm trying to, work on that and get better.
They have a sale on color pencils at the stores here.
Shoot.
Get yourself some?
Yeah, that might be the next thing for me. I'm trying to take more on an iPad just to, keep it all together. But, maybe I do need to start, using colored pencils and paper. So.
How did you take notes? How did you learn things before? How did you take notes before?
I mean, honestly, before, for me, I was kind of just, I would just had a notebook, pencil. I would write the general information down that I would get from the meetings. I would try to organize it, by the different calls. But for me, I kind of was able to just, look at the pictures, the formations, and then just mentally take myself through those mental reps. And after that, you have the walkthrough before practice, then you have practice, and it just clicked pretty quickly for me.
Is there something about this that requires you to do? Sorry, this is an obvious question, but requires you to okay, now I need to take it up a notch here. Volume of information overload, stuff that you have to get a little more organized to
honestly, I think so. I think being at Virginia is just, I was there for 4 years, and at a certain point you get that comfortable with what you're doing, and then also just the type of plays you're getting. So I wouldn't say it's an overload of information. It's just new information. The schemes are a little different in the NFL. How the offense is trying to attack. The way the certain techniques are being played. So it's really just little things like that.
Are you always like, you seem mild-mannered right now? Like, are you always like this? Because, like, your game looks different than, like, podium,
I mean, I'm pretty chill guy.
Like, so where's that come from? Like, where's the click come from on the field?
Just just being a competitor, caring about my teammates, wanting to win. That's really all it is.
What all do they have you doing on special teams so far?
I started out as a PP. They've kind of transitioned me to gunner, so having the ability to play either one of those. Being one of the safeties on field goal block, jammer on punt return, and then we're kind of rotating around a lot of different spots on kickoff and kickoff return. So,
and like your
really
ability
wherever.
on special teams, like, is it just the same want to? Because like
it doesn't change.
Yeah.
Are you doing multiple positions on defense as well? Moving around a little bit?
I've kind of just been playing high safety, and since we're rotational, it's like, whenever the field's on the other side, it's like you don't have to move. It's just you're able to play both. So,
How does that feel to be able to kind of settle into something as you make that leap from college to the pros?
yeah, I mean, it definitely makes learning it easy, but I think, I just feel comfortable, and there are still times, where I come down and cover man-to-man, so the defense we're in really allows the safeties to kind of do a lot of different things.
How's the communication for you, kind of learning all that? I mean, Justin kind of broke down a little bit of what he's doing, but what are you doing when you're kind of next to him?
Just trying to be vocal, and at the end of the day, if you're wrong but you're vocal, you're able to either get corrected or everyone's still playing the same thing. So just being loud, being vocal, and not being afraid to speak up, at the end of the day, because a guy who's quiet and not really saying anything just kind of hurts the guys around him. So not only are you not knowing what you're doing, but the other guys aren't sure what you're playing. So the safety's got to be the most vocal. So being vocal and being loud and just being confident, and that just comes with preparing.
Does playing all over the field in college help you stick to one position in the NFL?
Yeah, I mean, being able to play a bunch of different stuff in college just gave me the tools to be able to wherever they put me, whether that's playing high safety now, maybe who knows, in 2 weeks I'm playing a different position. Just being ready for that. So being ready for anything just gives you the ability to kind of be thrown in wherever.
Have you, Blackman and Justin, have y'all bonded really well outside of the facility, especially with all of y'all being new here?
Yeah, no, I met Justin, right when I got here, and then Julian, obviously, when he came here, I've been able to spend a lot of time with all of them. So, being able to do stuff, outside the facility, and just, they're all really, good people as well. So, it's been really good, connecting with all of them in the room. Not just them, all the guys, Jordan, Elliot, Ugo, it's a great room.
Thanks, Jonas. Appreciate it.